Hi, Jeff and Kristen. I'm Leah Huber, and I'm posting this in hopes of being your new content producer superstar. I've been a successful entrepreneur for almost 20 years under many different guises. I've been and continue to be a professional food writer and recipe developer for magazines like Cooking Light, Bon Appetit, Better Homes and Gardens, Eating Well. Basically, if you read food magazines, odds are very good you've read my words and probably cooked one of my recipes. And I hope you liked it. I've been and continue to be a branding and marketing expert, and I write copy and create content of all sorts in all sorts of voices for all sorts of brands and channels. One of my big corporate clients felt I captured her voice so well that she hired me to ghostwrite both her cookbook intro and her contribution to the chicken soup for the entrepreneur's soul, which was really fun. So that's how I'm able to capture a multitude of different voices. Something you should know about me is that I'm always on the lookout for how to streamline, how to be more effective. Back in the day, 18 years ago, my first big contract, at the tender age of 25, was with British Airways. And I pitched them a modular sales proposal system where I interviewed people around the company, across the company, and then distilled all that information and chunked down the topics so that salespeople could drag and drop these modular responses to create a custom sales proposal. And it was really revolutionary at the time. There wasn't anything like that out there. And those responses are still being used today. I pretty much live on a vertical learning curve. When things shifted from physical written form to online, I decided it was time to launch my own brand with my own voice and story. And so I launched Nourish Network, which you can find out more about on nourishnetwork.com, to empower people to make a lasting shift from processed food to real food in real life. And I learned not just how to build websites, but also how to think through the structure and content flow. I learned how to photograph food because really good food photography became mandatory. And I took a deep dive into video, both in front of the camera and behind the camera when I saw that that was taking off. I actually started out doing a lot of television. And I had a practice where to teach myself how to be in front of the camera, I'd ask each cameraman the same two questions after we finished a segment. I'd ask, what's one thing I did really well, and what's one thing I can work on for the next time? And getting that constant feedback in those two areas helped me play up my strengths and work on my weak spots. And it's something that I really love to do in whatever I'm working in. In fact, the producer of the show and of the pilot of my own show that we worked on together, she actually said I was so organized about the shots that she ended up letting me produce them in the end. So that was good. But I have to admit, I also love getting paid to be on learning curves. I was improving in front of the camera, but I wanted to be able to do my own stuff. So I took on two big clients to produce regular video content for them, not knowing anything about shooting or editing or anything yet. But I dove in, I asked questions, I learned, I improved, and I've learned a ton about developing concepts and scripting out along a storyline and chunking down the points that need to be covered and the footage that needs to be captured. I've even gotten really good at directing, both in person and remotely, to help somebody else who's going to be on the screen be more comfortable with what they have to cover. Now I'm in my second year with both, and I'm pretty confident we're going to be winning some awards this year. So, the learning curve that I'm on right now, internet marketing. I'd gone through your pre-launch videos late last year, but I was still kind of fuzzy on what programs I wanted to create with Nourish, so I passed at first. I'd created programs in the past with Nourish, and I'd relied on Hope Marketing, and I won't say that they were disasters, but they were great programs, but they just weren't sustainable. They just didn't sell at a sustainable rate. And then at Brendan Burchard's Experts Academy in March, and I was meeting all kinds of people who desperately needed branding help that I have gobs of expertise in, I decided midway through to launch a brand new venture as a sort of testing ground for the whole, pre-launch formula. And I bought your PLF on the spot. You inspired this. And Building Authentic Brands was born as a seed launch from absolute zero in my hotel room. And I built the logo, the website, the online area in 3 hours. So I've kind of been on the Jeff Walker vertical learning curve since then, and I'm just wrapping up my launch this week. And I don't want to say I'm hanging on your every word, but let's just say that I've watched the videos several times over. And once I wrap this launch, I'm going to jump into revamping Nourish with a brand new strategy built entirely around PLF. I have to say, I just want to thank you because I haven't been this excited and hopeful about building things for years. I'm blessed that I love what I do, But when it comes to making money by selling online programs, I've been really frustrated, and I've just been feeling like I'm throwing darts at the wall and not even hitting a dartboard. And PLF has totally changed that. Now I wake up and my big picture of where I'm going is totally clear, and I've got my chunk down task list in front of me, and I know exactly what I need to tackle that day, and I'm excited about everything. It feels like when I wrote a novel a few years back. I'd been writing professionally for years and had never really thought that I would go into that whole fiction realm, and then bam, it happened. And it was a really long process with lots and lots of versions and edits and feedback. The feedback was sometimes painful, but in the end, I realized I loved every part of it. I loved the concepting, the drafting, the editing, the final editing, every single part. So I'm hoping that writing fiction at some point will be a part of my life, many years from now. But first, I want to master PLF, and I want to help you rock your content. And I'd imagine that you can tell from all I've told you that I'm adept at managing multiple projects in multiple stages. I'm creative at team brainstorming and working with teams and deadlines, at crafting content around story and call to action, and in a variety of formats. Whether we're talking social or blog or course material or script or any other kind of format. And you can see I thrive on challenge. I'm a quick and voracious learner, and I love collaborating. What if is one of my favorite phrases. And at this point in my career, I only take on long-term contract work these days, and only with people and companies that I personally feel really passionate about. And ideally, who are in a space where I both bring my expertise and where I'm looking to grow. So when I read your description for Content Producer Superstar, I was like, that's me. And I hope you felt the same way as you watched this video. And I hope to be your new Content Producer Superstar. P.S. I've got an awesome husband of 17 years, a fabulous daughter who just started 3rd grade, and a really cute puppy. I love yoga, hiking, gardening, singing, and writing. And did I mention I'm a really good cook?